Welcome back to another tutorial taking a deep dive into two of the aspects of our analytics tool. Now, this is going to focus specifically on the benchmarking metrics that we are providing that allows you to see kind of how your book of business stacks up versus the Envestnet ecosystem. Now, remember that Envestnet ecosystem is very vast, 111,000 advisors that leverage it, $6.5 trillion in assets that are on platform to create these comprehensive benchmarking metrics. So when you're in the analytics site, if you go under practice, the two specific benchmarking modules are going to be the bottom two options, so fees and performance. When I click on that fee, what it's going to give me is a breakdown of my advisory fees by various different household sizes, as well as by program types and registration types. And I think this does a fantastic job of identifying where you are very competitive in terms of charging advisory fees and where are areas that maybe you discount more than others. And for future business that you bring on, you may utilize this as kind of a playbook for how you're going to charge those advisory fees moving forward if you want to potentially change that fee schedule. So when you launch into this fee benchmarking module, there's this filtering option. The default is always to the advisory fee, but you'll notice under fee component, you can actually hit a drop down and hit the all-in client fee. We also give you the ability to segment versus certain types of advisors. So if you don't want to compare just versus the entire Envestnet ecosystem, there is a drop down here for firm segment where you can change it to relate or only include advisors that would be related to a certain type of broker dealer or RIA. So that gives you the ability to narrow the scope, kind of make it more apples to apples. But here you can see on the dashboard, the far left-hand side is going to be your average advisory fee in that household band. The second bar is going to be the Envestnet average. And then the far right-hand side is your total assets in that household band. Again, same thing from a program perspective, same thing from a registration type. And then if you want to track quarter over quarter how your fees have evolved over time, for every account that was open in a specific quarter, we'll calculate what that average fee rate is for those types of accounts and then how that compares versus that Envestnet average. So are you starting to see maybe some increases on some of those household ranges that maybe have been discounted previously? If you want to take a deep dive into your entire book of business, where you can see all of the accounts that do billing, you can click on this fees grid and it'll showcase every single account, break it down by program type, and then we'll showcase what the average fee is, so what you're charging on that account, and then what the Envestnet average account would be for same program. So in this particular case, it's a separately managed account of 39 million. We're going to look at the Envestnet average separately managed account, same billable asset range to make sure that that peer average is apples to apples. So again, just giving additional confidence to potentially change that fee schedule for the great services that you provide your clients. We also do a similar thing from a performance perspective. So what this is going to do is take a look at all of the accounts that have the appropriate amount of performance history. The default is to a 3-year time horizon. But again, if I go up to the filtering option, I have additional time periods that I can look at. So if I want to look at 1 year, 5 year, year to date, all of those details are available to me, simple filtering. If I would want to look at net of fee performance, we typically will showcase gross of fee performance as the default. You can go down to fee type and select net. And just like on the fees perspective, if you only want to use certain types of advisors as that benchmark, I can select that under firm segmentation. But here I can see by program, what is my asset weighted performance for those various different program types versus the Envestnet average for the exact same type of book of business. Same thing from a risk tolerance perspective. So I can see moderate, aggressive growth types of portfolios. Where am I successful for my clients? And are there areas that maybe I would want to retake a look at my investment selection, investment philosophy, program usage for those types of accounts? So whether you build your own models, whether you outsource, it's a great way to have kind of a pulse of how your performance stacks up versus your peers. Just like we do on the fees side, we'll provide you a performance grid of every single one of your accounts. We'll showcase what the risk bucket is, what the program type is, and then your performance versus the peer average. So again, we're going to look at the same type of program usage, same risk classification, same type of asset weighting to create what that peer average performance looks like. So it's a real true apples to apples comparison. And then again, if you want to take a look at maybe accounts that maybe have the largest delta in terms of maybe underperformance, I can select any one of these columns. It will sort it appropriately. And then maybe I would potentially take a look at this of, all right, well, what is this individual invested in? Is it a particular manager, product? If I'm building my own portfolios and I'm potentially looking at outsourcing, I can use this to maybe identify some of those clients that maybe I would move to third-party management, which will free up more of my time to go out, do what I do best, which is going out, gathering assets, meeting with clients, and getting them to hopefully a safe and quick retirement. So a lot of power in our benchmarking. Fees are updated every single quarter because Envestnet does billing on a quarterly cadence. Performance is updated every single month. So here you'll notice at the bottom left-hand side, if you ever have a question on the last time that the data was last refreshed, the bottom left-hand side of each one of these widgets will let you know when that was. Majority of our site is updated weekly, performance is updated monthly, fees are updated on a quarterly cadence. Really appreciate, again, StoneX's partnership here. We're really excited to be launching this out to individual advisors, and catch us for the next tutorial where we'll be going through insights.